The HIV and AIDS Prevention and Control Bill is tightly packed in this small handbook, and whatever is written within, the Uganda AIDS Commission wants discarded.
No value add to what we are already doing in terms of organizing the national response. It really doesn't add any value because the good points in there we are already doing them.
In a highly charged message peppered with passionate pleas, Professor Vinand Nantulia, who is the chairman Uganda AIDS Commission, UAC, has implored lawmakers to shelve the radical proposals in the HIV and AIDS Prevention and Control Bill. Recently, MPs on the House Committee mooted a plan to sanction compulsory HIV testing for all lawmakers. In their argument, the MPs said it would set a good example across the country. But Professor Nantulia sees no good in this plan. Dr. Eliodat Mwesige, who chaired the HIV committee before he was appointed an assistant minister in the Health Ministry, said some of the proposals in the bill were well-intentioned.
Particularly on criminal transmission. People are saying people go and they know they are positive, but they go out there and they infect others deliberately and adamantly. We're also having many pregnant women who didn't want to test and know their status and therefore prevent transmission of their babies. There are also situations of pattern notification that, a doctor sits there, has a positive client, but is not compelled by law to inform the spouse.
But Tumwesige says that these proposals have been overtaken by new developments.
You don't have to compel women, pregnant women, to test. They actually want to test. You don't have to have a law. Because as long as you have services, we have said now 95% of the women who are positive and pregnant, they are coming up to test.
What exactly do you have against testing? Because really, if it's mandatory, we will know how many people have HIV. We will know how to deal with those numbers, because right now, I know the messages are out, but still people resist. Really.
If you make testing mandatory, the people will not show up. That's the problem with it, because you are taking away responsibility from the people.
Nantulia believes that this is the correct method of prevention against the AIDS scourge, which will not stigmatize victims. Nantulia has written a 23-page handbook on the veritable subject of HIV and AIDS prevention. It is titled, "To Protect Yourself, Your Child and Your Spouse, the Choice is Yours." Disclosure is another thorny subject in HIV prevention.
In proper health practice, we take an oath. It's called the Hippocratic Oath. That oath tells us that you must not disclose what you have learned from the patient. That's it.
The bill also has another contentious issue. It proposes that if anyone deliberately infects the other with the virus, he faces criminal charges.
It is the side that is out to infect others. We know that. They are out to infect others because they say they don't want to die alone. But there is also the other side of it, which is you, knowing that you are negative, if you know it, you are going to take every possible precaution to resist any attempt by anybody to have sex with you, unless you know their status.
It will also be like a Herculean task for the prosecution team to prove that someone deliberately infected the other.
Particularly in terms of being able to say this particular type of virus is the one which has infected this one, and this person had sex with somebody who didn't know the other person's status.
The Ministry of Health says that there are DNA machines in the country that could be of help.
And maybe in the future we can have ability to do genetic sequencing and be able to locate, say, this particular virus is the one which came from this man and has come to this woman, or vice versa.
I have an issue with it.
For now, experts from the Uganda AIDS Commission and the Ministry of Health say that if this bill comes into law, this could reverse the gains in the fight against the HIV scourge. Florence, NTV.